One of the foundational observations of the Good Food Institute is that plant-based milk right now represents about 9% of the milk market. Plant-based milk sales are at roughly $2 billion against $24.5 billion in total milk sales. You compare that to plant-based meat, which is under $500 million against a meat market of roughly $200 billion. So from an animal protection standpoint, simply closing that gap, which an awful lot of very smart business people are predicting. So for example, the CEO of Pinnacle Foods, which is a multi-billion-dollar food conglomerate that recently bought Gardein, or Bill Gates in a blog he wrote called The Future of Food, they're predicting that plant-based meats will close the gap and then surpass it. So that has a lot of benefits, and probably for animals, you're talking about roughly 1 billion animals per year saved, 1 billion land animals, and certainly more than 1 billion additional sea animals. So when we're thinking about this and we're thinking about how we close that gap, how we basically create a plant-based meat market that replicates the success of the plant-based milk market, we ask, how did plant-based milk become so successful? And it's pretty clear that the turning point for plant-based milk was when Dean Foods purchased White Wave. And Dean Foods is a massive dairy conglomerate. And they purchased White Wave and they put silk into the dairy containers. So you now have a situation in which most people who buy plant-based milk are also buying animal-based milk, but there's a market sector there. They show up to the grocery store thinking, I'm going to get animal-based milk and I'm going to get plant-based milk. We need to do basically that for plant-based meat. We need to create plant-based meat that is reasonably priced, that is delicious, and that is not relegated to some section of the grocery store where people have to go out of their way to find it. And that is actually, one of the 4 program areas of the Good Food Institute is called corporate engagement. And one of the things that our corporate engagement department is focused on is working with chain grocery stores to replicate for plant-based meat the success of plant-based milk, to learn from what they have done in order to save 1 billion animals a year just by getting to parity, and then a lot more as we surpass their success.